Hey, what's happening, guys? Elton McFall here. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. It's the 7th of April. It's another beautiful morning. It's, I guess you could say, the third day in a row like that, considering most of last week, 6 days in a row, were crap. So the whole week is looking really, really, really good. And there's already a bunch of people here. That's how beautiful it is. And again, it's like 9 in the morning. And I'm happy to have completed this vintage. I think it's an 81 AMT. I don't know why I keep thinking Freightliner. Maybe it's because I actually saw a real one a few days ago on DeCarry. I actually ran back to try to film it real quick there. And yeah, I'm on this graffitied old picnic table at the park. I never know the name of it, which is really a block from my place. And I just finished this kit yesterday, and it took me, I don't know, it took about, I don't even think it took me 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, 2.5. And as cool as it looks, and I'm proud of it, it didn't start off too well, actually. The paint, well, originally I wanted to paint this thing orange, because if you know me well, you know that like my second favorite movie of all time is Maximum Overdrive, and it's all about these big trucks, of course coming to life in a bad way to kill people. But anyway, there's this one international Eagle Transtar like this, but it's an older one and it's orange. But I didn't have any orange paint, and I didn't feel like popping $10-15 to buy paint because money's tight. And I remembered I had this light green, this pastel type of green paint, but it's not a it's just a regular run-of-the-mill type of Krylon paint you buy at Canadian Tire. And it's not really, that kind of paint is not made for these scale models because it comes out too thick. So anyway, what happened was that I started painting it with this primer, but I didn't realize that the primer I had was old, so it came out all friggin' splattery. So right away it started off bad. I botched it. And then, and then anyway, so I had to sand that down. Then I shoot it primer again. It still didn't come out the way I wanted it. And yeah, it just didn't start off too well. And when I put down this paint, you can't really tell because it's so bright, but yeah, it was starting to drip there and run at the bottom here, and but it still has a really nice shine. And yeah, it looks really really boss there. This is the better side, actually, in terms of, this is the worst side for the paint on the side, which you can't really tell, but it's actually the better side, because what's weird about this model is that it's really well executed. I mean, like any model that they made in the past, AMT or whatever company they reissue, but what's weird about it is that I've never seen this before. I made a few heavy trucks, right? But you see, like, the wheel lines up well here with the body, but on this side, I don't know if you could tell, look at that, see? It sticks right out. I looked at it twice underneath. The axle is set up correctly with the frame. I don't know what happened, so je ne sais pas, as we say in French. I don't know. And there's a typical sound in this neighborhood. Harley Davidson's there. But the instructions, by the way, were really cool, because they had a lot of pictures, even though it was like, the kit's over 40 years old. They had all these black and white pictures of like the details of the cab and the interior, the dash, all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen that before in a model kit. And the downside, though, is that they had some small diagrams for instructions, steps. Not too good for yours truly. And this kit, I thought it was complete. By the way, I bought this kit a few years ago, right when COVID started. I bought it right near here, a few blocks from here, maybe 5 blocks. And I bought it in a combo for like, I don't know, 115 with that Mac R series you saw that I did, many months ago. And another thing that was positive about this kit is that all the lights and horns and mirrors and all this stuff, their holes are in the cab to glue them on. You don't have to make holes or anything, like, which is a pain in the ass, And it's funny, for some time when I was getting ready to do this truck, I don't know why, for some reason I thought it had a Cummins in it. I don't know why. Then I looked at the engine, and which was already put together. I just had to paint it, and it's actually a Detroit, but I don't want to really open it more than that. You can't really see it too well. Anyway, it's not the correct green. It's the same green I painted that Mac Mac R series. Actually, it's interesting that what was I going to say? Another thing that was cool about this kit I noticed is that the frame, all these frame axles, drive shaft, all this stuff, these differentials, it's all molded in black. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So I left it like that. I'm like, I'm not even going to paint it. What the hell for? I mean, I'm painting in my apartment, you know, which is kind of questionable. And you got fumes, and it gets tiring. So it's, you know, people are like, "Oh, why don't you paint out in your alley in the back of your place?" I'm like, what? So everybody can see what I'm doing there? I mean, you guys who live in these old apartment buildings, you know what it's like. It's everything is crumpled together, and you know. So, yeah, very happy with it. And one of these grab handles, though, I broke. That was not surprising, considering how, you know, how slim those pieces are, eh? So. Yeah, she's a beaut, and and I forgot to mention the those red stripes are actually off the my old white Freightliner kit that I have, and because you know all the striping and all that for this thing, it's like, you know, back in the Smokey and the Bandit days, you know, it's all like gold, and I'd have to do the truck brown. You know me, I always have to do things my own way, and the AMT. Decals are also from that white Freightliner kit. Actually, it's funny because these AMT decals were fine, but this stripe here, like a lot of old decals, like that old Mustang model I had, once I took them out of the water, they just turned into pieces. That's why they look like that. But you know what? It doesn't matter, because trucks are trucks. They're meant for work, so it's normal for them to look used and worn out, and that can look, of course, pretty cool, you know. And I'll show you really quick here. Underneath. Oh yeah, and there's only one air compressor tank. The other one had, because they come in two pieces, the other one had a piece missing. Same thing for quasi scrap. And same for there was also like I don't know what you call it, not a hinge, but there's like a piece here for the cab to settle down on the frame there. There was one of those pieces missing, so it was not quite the complete kit as I'd hoped for. See, that's painted by hand there on the mud flaps. So being the perfectionist that I am, I'm glad the weather turned out great. I'm glad I had the timing to finish this yesterday, because if it had been last week, I would not have filmed this. No way. In some shitty weather. That's how I am, because yeah, this guy kicking his ball around there just to take away from the realism. But yeah, you know, I'm just again, it's like the perfectionist part of me where you know, it's got to look awesome. It's got to look real. I mean, isn't that kind of the point? Like when I do those paintings of cars or whatever, you want them to look real. Yeah. There's a lot of people, as you can see here. They like to party around here. And just to show you again, yeah, I don't really think this is a mistake on my part, but again, you see how the wheel sticks out here on the passenger side? Yeah, not too normal. Look, and not only that, look, maybe it's on my mistake I made too. Look over here on my my rear wheels here, the tandem wheels here. See, they don't line up. But again, it doesn't matter. I mean, as long as you strive for perfection, you know, that's the whole point. You know, maybe like the couple that came to my place yesterday to buy some models. Nice couple, you know, and the guy was showing me an airbrush kit that he was apparently going to go buy. I'm like, yeah, good for you, man. I mean, airbrush, man, it didn't really interest me much, but what the hell, you know, whatever floats your boat. And I'm happy with the spray paint cans, and I don't really have the money to invest in airbrushes and all that, but yeah, that green really, I thought, you know, it's funny because I wouldn't, you know, it's cool when you think things over and then you're like, hey, wait a minute, you know what, I could see that light green being on this truck, because I didn't really live in that era, you know. I'm 47 years old, and it's suitable because, yeah, I mean, at that time, compared to today, I mean, trucks were the colors of all the colors in the rainbow, anything you can imagine, and so I think it's just fitting. Oh, and I forgot to mention, they're actually, I don't know if the guy exists anymore. He had like some trucker or maybe he had a small fleet, but he had a truck here in Quebec. I think it's called Can-Am or something. And it was like maybe a bit of a darker green than this, but it had like red, white stripes. And I remember I saw one of his trucks last year. I think it was a Freightliner Argosy. But the first time I noticed one of his trucks was very noticeable because it was a freaking Scania. A Scania, which was like what, maybe one of two there. There's my neighbor. Okay, I hit a wrong button there. But yeah, a guy had a V8 Scania. Well, I don't know if it was a V8. I said that because that 4Runner went by, but yeah, it. Now I feel like that kid there. What's his name there? Anthony Schmidt there. He's like always like taking pictures of his die-cast cars there like this, like on surfaces like this with a realistic background, and you know, he does. I guess that's his purpose, eh? So, you know, it's funny. Before I wrap it up, I have to say it's one of the things I forgot about this kit when I was getting near the end is that the wipers. These were the only trucks I think that had wipers mounted on the top like that. In terms of long haul trucks, I think the only type of trucks I knew that had those types of wipers were like step vans, you know, Grummins and all that stuff. So, but yeah, it's interesting for a kit that's this old that you know, the instructions, you know, had all those pictures because this was way before the internet. Again, you had all these holes for all these parts, these chrome parts, the lights, horns, mirrors, and all this stuff. They went through the trouble to make that stuff. And again, all the frame, all the mechanical stuff, the frame, the engine, the differentials, the drive shaft, all that stuff is already black. I'm like, I'm not going to bother painting it. It's already black. I don't know, why should I make more fumes in my office than I need to, you know? Another thing too, I forgot to mention, which was cool, is they added side windows. So when you got side windows, that means your interior is protected from dust, which is awesome, right? So now all I gotta do now with this baby one day is find myself a trailer kit, straight body or whatever it may be, and make a trailer for it. Mind you, I need more shelves. I don't even have any more room anymore. The passion / obsession continues. And just before I finish off here, since this kit is sold, actually another slight flaw I noticed is that the chrome is not too good on those rear wheels, as you might have noticed, compared to the front. So there you go. As before I walked out here, I thought, yeah, that's another advantage to, oh, I noticed a little flaw I did here, my little chrome whatever window in the sleeper door. But yeah, I could just walk away a block from my place and be able to do this on a table with a nice setting of a park in the city. And yeah, that's awesome. There you go. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video inspires you to do the same, to build models, put them together and all that. And you know, it's I got something else coming soon. I've been working on the site. I'm going to keep that a surprise. Not a model I made, but it's something I got a sort of a collection off a friend of mine recently. So there'll be more on that sometime soon. So thanks again for watching. Take care, guys. Keep your stick on the ice. And hasta luego.